guys, welcome to episode 39 Two Girls Chirping. That's a New Girl reference. I'm Lauren.
I'm Abby.
Today we have declared a Stanley Cup champion.
I do declare.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
In sickness and in health.
I fear it's been sickness.
Yeah.
They've been chaotic out on the streets of Fort Lauderdale. I don't know what all you've seen of the celebrations, but we'll talk about it.
Okay, good. I've seen some things.
Yeah.
But the thing that's been haunting me is Brad Marchand's kid's voicemail.
Oh my God. I was really hoping you would see that because I wrote that down. Oh my gosh.
It's
Papa. Okay, so
never mind.
We'll get to that.
We'll get there.
Here's the order of events that we're going to talk about today. First of all, there's been some contract changes. Then we're going to talk about the game. Then we're going to talk about celebrations, some injuries that have come out. We're going to do a mental health check on Lord Stanley. And
Man,
then
that was good.
Thank you. I made coffees today because it's midday, and neither one of us wanted to leave to go to Seven Brew.
So it's an at-home coffee day.
It's at-home coffee day. And then we're going to talk about Olympics. Just to give... You
don't watch the Olympics like I watch the Olympics.
I was about to say, I recognize that, but I didn't think that was the Olympics theme song.
Do they have a theme song, or is that just their official song? I think it's a theme song.
I don't know the difference. Okay. First and foremost, there's been some contract changes.
Quinn Hughes is going to New Jersey.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Just kidding. There's not a chance.
No, but speaking of New Jersey, they have traded Eric Holla to the Nashville Predators.
We're just starting straight out of the gate with the most hurtful thing to me, huh?
Yeah.
Y'all know how I feel about Eric Holla. That is my Finnish king right there. Those steely blue eyes, it's giving whatever the walkers were from Game of Thrones. Like, that is, I stand with my canceled queen. He might do a couple things that maybe he shouldn't. And, he might not be the most consistent, but he is consistently my favorite. And now what? He's going to the Predators? You think I'm going to don that god-awful jersey? Hell nah.
He's Swedish, isn't he?
No, he's Finnish.
He's Finnish? Oh, yeah. He's definitely Finnish.
He was a big reason why I cheered for Finland in Four Nations.
Yeah.
Holla, holla,
Him
holla.
and Brady Shea will at least be together. I believe Brady Shea is still there for one more season. Do y'all want to hear the voice memo that Lauren sent me when she woke up and found out that this had happened? I'll play it for you.
Oh my God, the Devils traded Eric Holla to the fucking Preds. What the? This is so mean. This was targeted to me. What the hell? Why the hell do we still have freaking whatever the hell is now Lazier Curtis? Why is Curtis still there? This is bullshit.
No, Peep Cooper in the background.
Look, I had freshly awoken from my slumber. I know Curtis's name. I could see his last name, but I was blanking on what his name is, like his first name.
Curtis Lazar.
Well, I mean, I know it, but I was in such a shock that I blanked so hard on, and no disrespect to Curtis. Seems like a lovely dude, but Eric Holla, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
Speaking of, he might do some things that he shouldn't. The Rangers have re-signed Matt Orimpe to a 2-year deal. I wrote 22-year deal. That's not...
God almighty.
God, that's like the blood oath that Gretzky took coming into the Oilers.
Yeah.
It's
interesting.
It is interesting, but it's interesting to me because they're trying to rebuild... But
they're trading all of their, established guys.
Yeah, but the established guys haven't been playing well, other than Zivanacek.
I think the call is coming from inside the house, personally. I think it's a management issue.
I think Chris Drury needs to find a new home.
Yeah, fuck off to elsewhere.
That's all.
But mean, I'm happy for Matt Rempe. Love to see a 6'8" man get his contract extended. Because you're too tall for all of that to go to waste. We just got to find your talent. It's there. It's a diamond in the rough, I feel.
Yeah.
But also, they're terrible at
developing.
I don't want to shit on the Rangers. They're horrible at developing players.
Yeah, they are terrible
so
at
why are we... And then we traded off everyone except Mika. No disrespect to anyone who's still playing, but, like, they traded off most of their big dogs. Granted, their big dogs were not really barking during the season.
Their big dogs
we don't have to get into that.
Too tired. They need... You know how when we took in
stable
Cooper...
home.
You know how when Cooper came to live with us...
Yeah.
My dog, for those who don't know.
Our dog.
But I provide for him, and...
That's true.
I take him to the vet. I pay those bills.
I do aunt duty.
I discipline him. Yeah, you're very much aunt.
Yeah, I do not discipline him. He could literally spit in my face and be like, "It's okay, Baba."
She's like, oh, he just, like, takes up my whole bed. But she's like... Cooper, move. Like, he thinks that you're applauding it. Cooper, no, don't do that.
Look, he has lived... He's like 80 in human years. If that baby wants to take up the bed, take up the couch, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm 5'2". I'll just condense.
Anyways, all this to say, we took in Cooper, and he got, like, a renewed sense of joy. He has
and now that you get to work
a lot
remote,
more freedom. Yeah, he has a lot more freedoms living with us than he used to.
Which is code for I don't believe in discipline, and whatever he wants, he gets.
Which is code for I don't over discipline him. He's an old dog. He's fine. Like,
he
can
well
get
trained.
up. Yeah, I put in hours and days and years training that dog,
and it's paid off.
And it has. All that being said,
if we could just get
I don't
his anxiety
remember what
under control.
point I was girl, can anybody get anyone's anxiety under control?
We were talking about the Rangers developing players.
Yes, they're and
trading then we lost the plot.
You said they're trading all their big dogs, but they're big dogs in the sense of my dog. Maybe they just need to go somewhere else and get a renewed sense of joy, because they're not really doing much in the Rangers. Like, I can't blame the Rangers for trading them. Chris Kreider, that was a bit out of the blue, but at the same time, we knew that they were going to make big changes. Personally, I think Chris Drury needs to go.
Yeah.
Zetterlund has also extended his contract with the Senators. He's signed a 3-year deal. And then we have the Stars. The Stars have been making some moves.
They hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about the Marchment trade to Seattle for 2 picks, not even first-round picks.
A third and a fourth-round pick feels disrespectful.
A 4th-round pick in the upcoming draft and a 3rd-round pick in the 2026 draft. At first I thought, like, oh, maybe he wasn't doing that much. I didn't really pay attention to the Stars until they got Mikko Rantanen for real. Like, I just didn't.
No disrespect, but our other teams play at the same time as them.
Yeah. Apparently, Marchment tied his career high season this past season, and he only played 62 games.
Yeah, he was hurt for a majority.
I don't get why you traded him. But
unless they're just trying to free up cap space, which, like, bitch, you bought Rantanen.
Yeah. Or he could have asked for a trade.
Which feels crazy because they went to the playoffs again. And he's got really good chemistry with the team.
Yeah, they went to the playoffs again.
And they fired the coach.
They went to the playoffs again, and they were eliminated within the first 2 rounds again.
Okay.
So maybe he's wanting to go somewhere that could have more depth in the playoffs.
Well, he went to the Kraken. So
actually,
that didn't work out.
You're so right. Everything I just said makes no sense. I forgot he went to Seattle.
Yeah.
So that's a hot take. But they did renew Duchesne for 4 more years.
Yeah. I'm just glad they didn't change trade. I was seeing a lot of rumors about Jason Robertson getting traded, which I would have taken so personally.
And there's no saying they won't trade him.
But if you do, I'll have such hard feelings.
Yeah, I will be upset with you if you do. But who am I to judge?
It's not like I own any of your merch, so
God, no.
It'll be okay either way.
That shade of green would not look good on me. Mm-mm. Okay, shall we talk about the big game?
Sure.
Game 6, Stanley Cup. finals. I don't know why I just short-circuited it.
Game 6 of the Stanley Cup tournament.
Draws series.
To a close. Final elimination.
Okay, I do have a couple notes. First of all, Charles Barkley did pre-show stuff.
Yeah, which was interesting.
Which they did it because, well, I don't know why they did it. I'm not going to lie, but I'm not mad at it because he's funny to me.
He's so funny.
Also, I forget, every time I see him, I have a moment of, oh, wait, he's from here.
He's from Alabama.
He's from Leeds.
We're not from Leeds.
We're not from Leeds, but
we're in the same neighborhood.
I drive past Leeds every day on my way to work. Like, it's right there. You know how much time I spent in Leeds in high school? Way too much.
Well, yeah, that's where... Never mind. Let me not expose my illegal activities. All I'm saying is, hypothetically, you could have a party at the abandoned houses and then go cow tipping after.
Yeah,
that is a possibility.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say.
If you were interested, which, not saying she was.
I would never do an illegal activity.
She's a saint.
Never did anything.
That good Christian girl over there?
That I couldn't do under the age of 21. Not in this great land.
Yeah. But Charles Barkley, back to Charles Barkley was talking about Seth Jones' dad, Popeye Jones. Have you ever heard of him?
Mm-mm.
I don't expect you to because it was basketball. He was a big basketball player. Popeye Jones.
You know what? Hell yeah. Where is Popeye from?
I actually have no idea.
That's a southern name.
That is a southern name. God, that's such a southern name. Let's see. Popeye Jones. Oh, he's from Tennessee.
Of course he is.
Yeah. Anyways, they were asking Charles Barkley about Seth Jones' son, or Popeye Jones' son, Seth, and like, oh, did you ever think that we'd see such a successful NBA player's son playing in the NHL? Like, those are two very different sports. And he goes, quite honestly, I hate Seth Jones because Popeye Jones was like the only player that, quote, kicked his ass every single time they played each other. And Charles Barkley was like, and I have no idea how.
Oh my God.
It's residual hate. I just hate him. It carries over.
It's generational.
It's generational.
I love Charles Barkley.
He's so funny.
Yeah, I say that just knowing the couple of things I've seen of him are just him being funny. A silly little goose.
I don't know him, but from what I see.
Obviously, we don't know him.
I meant, like, I don't pay attention to if he's controversial or not.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. Look at how good I can bend this knee.
I'm so proud.
I've started walking upstairs. I can only do it twice in a day before it starts hurting quite bad.
Okay, Game 6, they gave Stuart Skinner the start in net.
I always feel so bad for the losing team's goalie. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, I felt freaking terrible for him. I'm not going to lie. Pickard came over at the end, and I was like, Pickard came over and comforted him before any other player. Like, he was there immediately. That was a brutal one. They were taunting him. Honestly, truly what I've had to come to the conclusion of is it's not that the Oilers are a terrible team. It is just the Panthers are so freaking good. And the Oilers, when they go down, they can't rally. They're just like down.
Look, I'm going to say my hot takes, and we've talked about this. The Panthers are a well-rounded team.
Mm-hmm.
If something happens to Matthew Tkachuk, like his groin injury this season, it doesn't matter because we got every single player is stacked. So it doesn't affect the team overall.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid has a bad game, we're losing.
Mm-hmm.
Leon Draisaitl has a bad game, we're losing every single time because they built that team around the two of them, which is totally fine, except when something happens to them, there is no hope.
Yeah.
And there is no one there to pick up. I mean, Corey Perry, he really showed up in the playoffs. And I am never, ever, ever talking about Skinner because I couldn't do a goaltender job if my life depended on it.
God, no, I could not.
But their defense, atrocious. It was giving Canucks. Where were they?
Literally.
Never, ever,
but you know
ever.
what
I'm talking Canucks first and second, third of the season.
You want to know the difference between their defense and the Canucks?
They don't have a Hughes.
That's exactly the difference.
They don't have a Hughes. They don't have Quinn Hughes, who...
They have Evander Kane.
Fuck me, yeah.
Who
is a nuisance.
Just takes dumb-ass penalties.
He just hurts the team. He hurt the team so much in this playoff run.
I think he had a few goals, but he spent more time in the box than he did on ice.
Didn't you say that you had totaled up his penalty minutes and playing minutes, and he had more penalty minutes than playing time?
I did not do that, but I did see it on TikTok, a very reliable source, that somebody was like, yeah, he spent far more time in the box than actually on ice.
I think if they had a team like Colorado or something, where, yeah, you've got your star players, but you've also got guys that are freaking good backing you up and that are fairly consistent.
That can step up when the top players aren't there.
Exactly.
The Oilers
I didn't
just
see
don't
anyone
have that.
stepping up.
No, I agree. I actually pulled a stat. I didn't pull the stat. They pulled the stat and posted it on the TV, and I said, let me write that down. Edmonton only led in scoring this whole series. They only had 34 minutes in scoring where they led the score. The Panthers set a record for leading scoring in the final series.
Yeah.
It is insane. Draisaitl did say pre-game that they hadn't seen their best from themselves.
Yeah,
pre-game I wrote, well, there's no time like the present. More like there's no time for the past. Like, what the frick are you doing? This is the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, babes.
Okay, first period.
You're making all that money.
Yeah.
And I would say for the first 3 games, they looked okay. And then after that, they just
they lost a game. Mm-hmm. And they could just never recover. That's what, if they go down, they cannot rally. I mean, there's a couple. And I thought they would rally. Times that they have, but
I thought they would rally after game 4, the big brawl. Was that 3 or 4?
That was game 3.
I think it was 3.
Where they were just playing. Everybody was playing rough.
And that's fine during the regular season, but this is a playoffs final round. Knock it off. If you have big feelings, show it in your work.
Yeah.
Score a goal. Let off some steam. That's it.
That big feelings comment just took me back to childcare and trying to communicate with kids, and we have big feelings and there's big words that we can use to describe those feelings.
We have different careers.
Oh, it's a trauma of mine.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair. I don't even know how much we'll necessarily talk about. I always write more notes than we end up talking about.
Yeah, because I yap.
The Oilers came out during the first period pretty physical, and they actually looked really well. Mm-hmm. Corey Perry came out, knocked Marchand's helmet off. Then in that same series of play, Draisaitl laid a big hit. I said it looked like they were trying to play more like the Panthers. However, the Panthers scored first about 5 minutes in. Sam Reinhart. The man you are, first of all.
He's one of my favorite Sams.
That was crazy. He had a steal at the blue line. The Oilers are trying to clear the zone. He said, I'll take this right here. Cuts across, shoots, scores as he's falling. I love when they score as they're falling and sliding. I think it's cinematic.
I just think it's elite.
He scored the game-winning goal last season, and as soon as he scored this one, they were like, oh my gosh, is he going to do it?
Repeating itself.
Is he going to do it?
And you know what? History did repeat itself.
In a massive fashion.
Except they didn't tell Connor that he got the Conn Smythe immediately after losing in Game 7.
Who won the Conn Smythe?
Excellent question. I'll look it up.
I haven't seen anything about that, actually.
I don't think that was on my list either.
We can talk about it at the end. Mm-hmm. That goal, though, kind of took the steam out of the Oilers a bit. They were still playing all right. But then Kane started playing a little aggressive. And you know what happens when he starts playing a little aggressive.
Sam Bennett won the Conn Smythe. Not only did they win in 6 games, they stole the Conn Smythe. Connor McDavid didn't even get that. And you know what?
He didn't deserve to get it.
Yeah.
It's odd to me last year that it went to a losing team. But whatever.
Well, it went to a star player.
Yeah, well, he didn't deserve it this season. This series. Am I wrong?
No.
Yeah.
In playoffs, I think I don't know.
It is
Sam Bennett. I'm fine with Sam Bennett winning it. Fair enough.
Speaking of Sam Bennett, he drew one of 3 penalties in the whole game. They didn't go down on a penalty kill or anything because 9 minutes and 45 seconds into the first, there's some shoving after the whistle. What happened was Evander Kane / Bobrovsky.
That's just so stupid.
Yeah.
We're in a win it or lose it situation, and you're going to slash the goalie?
And Sam Bennett saw it and said, I think the fuck not.
He said, absolutely not in my house.
And so Kane got a slashing penalty. Bennett got a roughing penalty. Those were 2 of the 3 penalties given out during this whole game.
Well, we got to stand with our man.
I bet you can't guess who got the third.
Ooh, what is Kane?
Correct. And then with 46 seconds left in the first period, Matthew Tkachuk shoots and scores to put them up 2-0.
I can't believe no one ripped his mouth guard out of his mouth during any of this.
If they had played the Capitals,
Tom Wilson, I was counting on you.
Hey, look, Tom Wilson, all I'm saying is the first time y'all play them next season, you have the chance
right out.
You have the chance to do the funniest thing that there is. My first note about
I can't even begin to try and read that.
I know.
What size is that? 6?
11.
That's not the 11 I know. Granted, my 12 times New Roman is normally on 125 to 150% zoom in. So,
Jesus. I live on 75 because I want to see the whole page.
Bare minimum, my zoom is 115% at all times.
Which, that is why I'm like this.
Yeah.
I am not going to miss the growl.
It's so cringy.
It's so cringy. Like, I get why you do it, but
please stop.
It'd be different, too, I think, if they score, the bell rings, and then there's one growl. But no. Because they go throughout the whole announcement, anytime they break to breathe, there's a growl. Every single... It is so cringy. It is so cringy. I'm not going to miss that. Second period. The Oilers never looked the same. The second period, they still played all right.
Yeah, I agree. Strictly mid. I wanted to be like, wake the fuck up. Where's Connor's crash out speech? Can I deliver one?
I wonder if he had one.
We'll find out. He's not on the lineup for face-off.
No, I don't blame him at all.
So weird this year.
It is interesting. McDavid had a good pass across to Perry, who had an even better opportunity to score. But Bobrovsky had an even better save. Mm-hmm. I said that's exactly what I just said. Bobbert.
He better win something. He better win some sort of trophy for playoff superiority. If that doesn't...
Bobrovsky? Absolutely he should. Mm-hmm. They've already given out goalie of the year to Hellebuck, which is deserved. Fair.
Which to all of you who are hating on him, apologize. I'm still waiting.
Okay, 17 minutes and 31 seconds into the second. That's where we're going to pick back up. There wasn't much that happened in the second period. First of all, the Oilers' defensive pair, Kulak and Nurse, had been out on the ice for well over a minute and a half. But Reinhart scored off of a rebound. It was so weird. Skinner was fully standing in his crease. It goes off of his shoulder, and even the commentators were like, why did he not just stop play? Like, why did he let it bounce off so that they could play it again? Because he didn't even get down and set before Reinhart shot it and scored. That was a really bad goal that he let happen.
But we're all human, and we do make mistakes, especially the Oilers.
Like, even the Oilers players, everybody really thought that he had caught it and was going to stop the play, because even the Oilers players let up.
Yeah.
Which allowed even more. But
they had been letting up.
That was Reinhardt's...
for like 2 games.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they ever put down?
I would argue they threw down game 2.
3. I don't know. I think it was 2 they won.
Yeah, they won the second one.
These are all, like, going together in my head already.
Whatever. They threw down on occasion. Not enough.
Not enough. But that was Reinhardt's second goal of the night. Have you checked the final score? Do you know how many goals he had that night?
I'm scared. I don't recall.
He had 4 goals.
Reinhardt?
Yeah, in this game.
All right, Sam Bennett.
What? Breaking news.
What?
The Hurricanes have re-signed Eric Robinson to a 4-year, $6.8 million deal.
Great. Do it to Jason Robertson. Let's go ahead and link up all the Robertsons.
I also saw...
I love Robinson.
I like Robinson, too. That's our Harvard, Yale, Princeton.
Such a baby face to be as old as he is.
That's our Ivy League.
He looks a solid 19, and dude's like,
he looks like 22, but he's like 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also saw earlier, I didn't write it down because it hasn't been confirmed by anybody, but Emily Kaplan put it out, and she's a very reliable rumor source, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Jonathan Towles plans to sign a 1-year deal with the Winnipeg Jets. He is currently the captain of the Chicago Blackhawks, but he's also a free agent at the end of the season, and he's planning to sign a 1-year deal with the Winnipeg Jets as soon as free agency opens.
I don't blame him.
Which is July 1st. I don't blame him either. And that, I think he's like on the older side. That's giving, I'm going to play in my hometown and then retire.
That's giving, this team is going nowhere, get me the fuck out.
Yeah, and who can really blame him? Okay, the third period. The Panthers got away with one. About 8 minutes in, Seth Jones tripped McDavid. It was very blatant, very obvious, but there was no call. At this point, the Oilers were only down 2 goals. That power play could have given them some momentum.
We'll never know.
But we'll never know. And they just look tired. I said not like they've given up, but kind of.
I mean, Connor McDavid looked kind of dead inside.
Yeah, I think that they just completely lost their momentum.
They lost the plot.
And who knows what would have happened if they came out firing again in the third, but
they lost didn't. The reason for the season. Once you lose the reason for the season, like, what are we doing?
Also, fans started chanting USA, which is so embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing because the Canadian players for the Panthers were the ones that came through.
Yeah.
Not the Americans.
There were a total of 5 goals scored in this game, and 4 of them were by Canadians.
That's 80%, babes.
And I get that they're probably doing it because they're like, an American team.
It's an American team. That shit just pisses me off.
I'm like...
Because they always do it, and it's the Canadian players that are holding us down. They never chant it when the American players are the ones holding us down.
No. And also, it just pisses me off because people, no matter what it is, like if we, oh my gosh, so many times we get comments that are like, keep politics out of hockey. Politics have no place in hockey. Bitch, you're chanting USA at games. Anyways.
If you don't think that sports and honestly everything is political, then you're just not paying attention and you're using your privilege to be ignorant. Yeah. And you know what? If that's how you need to live to get through your life, that's fine. But that's not how I'm going to live.
Mm-mm. And that's all I'll say. I will also say Frederick rocked Kachuk's world as they were chanting USA. And it was great. He went down on ice. It was fantastic. I was like, actually... yeah.
You know what? Hell yeah.
7 minutes remaining in the third, the Oilers pulled Skinner. Look.
You know how I feel about that.
Yeah. You're only down 2 goals. Your people are not playing well. The last thing you should be doing is pulling your goalie with 7 minutes to go, because you know what?
I would have been less upset if they had just done a goalie change.
Mm-hmm.
But that was so stupid.
Yeah, about a minute and a half into having an empty net, Sam Reinhart scored to have a hat trick in the Stanley Cup final game on an empty net. He shot it from the blue line.
Yeah.
In front of the benches. So, like...
At that point, they were just toying with the Oilers.
They were.
That's what it felt like.
Dude, his hat trick...
I was like, can we just call it?
Yeah. He was the first ever... Or it was the first ever postseason hat trick by a Panther ever. How many times am I going to say ever?
Ever. Actually, in franchise history.
I don't know if you've heard it, but ever.
This is the first one.
He's only
the first of his name.
He's only the 4th player in NHL history to have a hat trick in a cup-winning game.
There's a couple times I thought that Svechny was going to get a hat trick when they were still in playoffs.
Yeah, but this was in a cup-winning game.
I know.
It's a very specific...
It's very niche.
There were a few times that I thought Svechny was going to get a hat trick. Unfortunately, we got eliminated.
We deserved to get eliminated.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. The Oilers kind of had no shot of coming back at that point.
You think?
Yeah, because... Yeah. As a matter of fact, I do. The Panthers were up 4-0 with 6 minutes remaining. They put Skinner back in the net and then pulled him again with about 6 minutes left in the game. And then Sam Reinhart, with 5 minutes left, scored his 4th goal of the game.
It was really hard to watch.
Not for me.
It was hard to watch from, like, I just felt so bad for Skinner.
I had to look away.
Horrible for him.
I had to look away from Skinner and focus on how elated Sam Reinhart looked and borderline emotional that he looked because he just put them up 5-0 in the Stanley Cup final. Like, just knowing that he was gonna. And again, another empty net shot from center ice.
Yeah, because he was like, "Oh, we're just gonna do this again. I'll just score again.
I'll just do a wraparound."
Yeah. I liked it so much, I'll do it twice.
Yep. That was his 7th goal of the series. He also had the game-winning goal. Again, second season in a row. He's the first player since Wayne Gretzky to have 7 or more goals in a cup final game. That record was set in 1985.
That's a stat I would be on a microphone screaming into the void.
Yeah, that was 1985, 30 years ago.
More than 30.
40 years ago.
Up that.
I'm an accountant. 40 years ago. His dad, fun fact, is the only defenseman to have more than one postseason hat trick.
Oh, he's a legacy.
Yeah, his dad is Paul Reinhart.
He's a legacy hockey player and hat trick hero.
A Nepo baby at its prime.
We love to see it.
Yes. The Oilers did inevitably score 15 minutes and 18 seconds in. Podkolzin scored. That was sad to watch. Just because he scored, they're announcing Sam Reinhart's goal as he scores. The crowd doesn't skip a beat. The players don't skip a beat. Like, they don't even hug each other. I don't even think they went by the benches.
Did they deserve to hug each other?
No. But it was so sad. It's like
hard to
nothing
watch.
in the atmosphere changed. It was just weird. And then here's the third and final penalty of the game. 2 minutes and 13 seconds left in the game. Keep in mind, the Oilers are down 5-1. Evander Kane takes a 10-minute misconduct. He slashed Tkachuk. Tkachuk reacted. They called the penalty. And then he goes across ice to get an even harder slash in on Tkachuk. They don't review it or anything. They just kick him out of the game. 10-minute misconduct. He doesn't even come back on ice to shake hands at the end of the game.
Which I didn't like that.
Well, I don't know if they would have allowed it.
If they wouldn't have allowed it, that's fine. But if you can shake... Yeah, I mean, in all the bench clearing brawls where, like, Tom Wilson's gotten thrown out, I have not seen him back on ice to do handshakes afterwards. So, yeah, I'll allow it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a league rule or if he was just throwing himself a pity party.
If it's a league rule, that's fine. If you're being a whiner, that's not fine.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, you didn't deserve to win, and a lot of it, I would say, is your fault.
Enjoy your break. Let's reflect in our off season.
Those
intrusive thoughts, we don't always have to let them win.
Think about how many times the Oilers had to go on a penalty kill because of him.
It was like buy one, get one free.
Yeah. Yeah, and we love a BOGO.
We love a BOGO.
He will probably get fined by the NHL too.
I saw they're investigating.
Yeah, they are investigating him. I think they're investigating for a couple different reasons. It's really weird.
There's a couple of investigations going on
within the Oilers because he was
also
on
the Panthers. I can't remember what, but they want one of the Sams. I think Sam Bennett investigated for something.
Interesting.
But I saw like rumors that they are also investigating Kane for how they handled his long-term injury reserve. I haven't gotten specifics because I haven't read it from a reliable source yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, I do remember hearing about that back when I think free agency was going on.
Yeah. I say let's put him back on long-term injured reserve. Let's do it.
I think let's put him on your AHL team.
I do think I think he should. This is so mean. I feel bad saying it, but I think he should be sent down.
I think so too.
If anything, he just wasn't strategic. Like, he wasn't helping the team. He was hurting the team. You've been playing too long to be that sloppy.
Yeah.
You're just catching penalties like they're going to help you get goals. You're just handing them out. You want one? Here, I'll give you one for free. Let me double down.
And then it's the fact that he did a wraparound on Tkachuk. I'm like, for what? Like, just stop. Like, what the fuck?
What did you do? Make a your mama joke? Like, calm down.
Like, obviously, the game was over at that point.
I know, emotions running high, but you're a professional athlete.
Yeah, and they say women are dramatic.
Yeah, like, that's a lot of big feelings.
There's big words that can go with these big feelings.
You can also use impulse control.
Yeah.
Crazily enough.
Yeah. But it was sweet, too. The Paul Maurice, and I think Matthew Tkachuk was also mic'd up. But I know Paul Maurice was because I've seen a lot of stuff come out after the game.
Dang, I haven't seen anything.
Really?
What the frick?
I'll start sending them your way. He told Greer, Nosek, and Gadjevich. I was like, Djokovic is a tennis player.
You're like, wait, that's not right.
And Gadjevich, that they were going to get the last shift because they were the ones that got them there after being down 2-0 to the Leaves. And he was like,
I'll cry right now.
He was like, y'all are going to be the first ones to throw your gear off and celebrate on ice. I was like, don't make me like you as a person.
That's my guy right there.
My train of thought really pulls through. They weren't even my top pick to win, but I'm getting chills. Also, their little jumps are so adorable, but that drone footage almost made me nauseous.
Yeah, their little hops on the bench were so cute.
It was so adorable. The fans were chanting Bobby, love.
As they should. That's an appropriate chant.
Yeah.
Give that man all the flowers, all the reds.
Yeah. Paul Maurice, you know how he asked Rob Brindamore not to, like, shake hands?
Yeah.
He started walking over to Knobloch, but Knobloch kind of just ignored him and got in line to shake hands, and so he was like, oh, okay. So I don't know if he was trying to ask him to not shake hands or anything, too. I don't think it would have mattered at the end of the day. If you're going to shake hands, if everybody's going to come out on ice, this is the game to do it.
Is that a normal thing where the families just come out on ice after the Stanley Cup? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, Paul Maurice is going to allow families?
Yeah, like the wives, all the families come out. There's kids. There's so many reporters. Yeah, everybody's out on the ice.
I'd like to shout out Brad Marchand's kid who said, I want to go home. And he said, do you want to go home? And the other one's like, no, I want to see the trophy.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cutesy.
She was so real for that.
Yeah. Way past her bedtime.
So the Panthers had 3 players with 5 or more goals in the final series. They are only the second team to ever have done that. The first and only other one is the 1955 Red Wings. 70 years ago.
Dang.
Also, I peeped a Nico Hischier jersey in the front. I saw you. Are you okay? Yeah, then celebrations ensued. Brad Marchand's daughter, the first thing she said to him was, I want to go home. The other one wanted to be there. He got interviewed by Jackie at the end of the game.
Our girl. Our resident Taylor Swift correspondent.
Yes. Thank you for your service. And he started getting choked up and, like, his voice was cracking.
He's an emotional guy.
And I was getting emotional. I was like, oh, my gosh, this is so cute. Speaking of kids, though, Matthew Tkachuk, I don't know whose kids they were, but he was, like, hugging a bunch of kids or whatever, and he was like, I'm so excited for the parade. He was like, we're going to have so much fun at the parade.
Oh, my God. Dude's like, I'm going to start drinking now. I will let up after the parade. Legend says they're all still drunk.
I think they probably are.
Yeah.
There's more to come on that.
As you should. The season's so long.
Yeah. I have quite a few things. So they let... Obviously, Barkov goes and grabs the trophy.
Yeah, that's my captain.
And he immediately goes straight to the team celebrate, as you do.
As you
and you
should.
know how they all get a chance. They lift the trophy, they skate around with it or whatever.
Yeah.
He told, I think it was Jackie, that they had decided as a team that the guys who hadn't never lifted the trophy would get to go first, and then everybody else could go. Like, instead of who was the most valuable throughout the game.
God, they're so hard to distinguish between on ice and off ice, because I'm like, damn, I love y'all.
I know.
I love y'all.
Yeah.
Class act.
Sometimes they're really hard to root against.
Yeah.
And then this is where things start getting messy. This is where things start getting drunk, really. Barkov also lifted the cup on home ice for the staff around 2 a.m.
1:35 a.m. to be exact.
Oh, wow. That's crazy that you know that off the top of your head, which is very cute. They looked like, you know, when you're bowling and Wii.
Yeah.
And they like are jumping with that's what it looked like. It was so funny to me.
I thought it was giving more Minions. Tonight we steal the moon. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what it was giving.
It was very cutesy.
I have no order for when the rest of these happened. This is just what I've seen on social media gradually.
This is not chronological.
Brad Marchand and a bunch of the guys, well, I assume the whole team went out to dinner. Mm-hmm. And I believe it's from Brad Marchand's social media, like his personal. Okay, he went around the table and posted pictures of everybody there with thanks, Calgary Flames, and tagged every team that they've ever played for on there. That's so freaking funny.
I laughed so hard.
So funny. And it started because outside of Elbow Room, which is the bar that they went to last year when they won it.
How do we know that? How do you know that?
I know things.
Keeping up with
I'm all-knowing. I'm all-knowing. There's a giant crowded outside of Elbow Room.
Yeah.
Because they know that they're going to be there. And they're on this balcony or whatever. And somebody started chanting, "Thank you, Bruins," to Brad Marchand.
I thought it was, "Thank you, Boston."
And then they worked. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sorry.
Then they did that for a couple of other teams.
Did you watch it though? Because he, like, the moment he clocked that they were saying, like, "Thank you, Bruins," like, "Thank you, Brad, for coming here."
Yeah.
God, the smile on his face.
Yeah, it was adorable. But that's where he got that from.
I have found
funny.
it hard to hate that man since Four Nations, and now I think that's my villain. Like, that's my guy. He's such a menace.
I really wanted to not like him,
but I can't.
But here's the thing, and I remember when we talked about Boston in our like NHL history episode, which those are hard to watch. So if you watched them,
that first couple months that we did it, we didn't know what the frick we were doing. It got better as we went along.
Yeah, but when we talked about the Bruins, I talked about him and how he has a history of like anger issues and going to therapy to resolve those and stuff too. And even then I was like, I want to hate you, but I respect that you're figuring it out.
He said, "I've got a problem. I licked a man's face on national television," which is
so many levels of...
So inappropriate, across so many boundaries.
Yes.
And he said, "I'm going to work on me." And also, we found out, I don't even remember, I think it was this week, though, that he's, probably because of the voice message, we knew he had girls because we saw them on ice. And then I think you were the one that was like, yeah, he met, like, his wife, whatever.
Yeah, last episode we talked about this.
Yeah, she's got a son from a previous marriage, and then they have 2 kids. And I'm sorry, but my weak spot is men who step up.
Yeah.
So if you have a bad word to say about Brad, don't say it to me. Because I will defend him.
Yeah, there was this video that came out. I saw
the NHL posted it.
The NHL posted it?
Yeah.
It's these voice memos or messages that his kids left him before the final game. And they're so freaking cute. His daughter's saying, like, "You're the best daddy ever." In her little kid voice, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, the little
kid.
The little kid's voice. Like, "Hey, daddy."
And then
whatever. I'm not going to expose their names. You can look them up if you want. And then the stepson closing it out with, like, you've got like this family, like the family's here when you come home. We're so proud of you, love you, Papa. God, and I was like crying in the couch,
dude. He dropped Papa. Papa is my weak spot.
He dropped
Papa
in a little kid voice saying, "We love you, Daddy."
And he was like, no matter the outcome of this game, just know, like, we're proud and we're here at home whenever.
God, I could really tear up.
I did tear up.
I felt the emotions, and then I had to put on my workout playlist so that I could lock back into studying.
Yeah.
Because I was like, there was no warning.
None. Speaking of Brad Marchand, he also got Marchand, whatever the fuck his name is.
Speaking of Brad.
The
Rat King, if you will.
The Rat King, literally. He also got a custom Kevin Lionel jacket.
Yeah. Did you see how excited he was?
I'm so freaking jealous. He was like, that's for me. It was beautiful, too.
What is the backstory behind that? Like, I don't even
Kevin
know who
Lionel, he's a designer. He makes all of these custom jackets for all kinds of different things for different celebrities. They're some of the most beautiful jackets I've ever seen in my life.
That jacket was gorgeous.
I might be wrong. I might be thinking of someone else, but not everything he does is great, because I'm pretty sure he did the Devil's Whack jackets, but that might have been somebody else. I'll cut this out if that's not, but I don't think he did, but I also kind of think he might have. Anyways, he got that jacket. That's beautiful. Oh, here's my all cap notes as I'm listening to the voice memos stuff. God.
Say it.
We already talked about all of it.
Say it. Just run through the stream of consciousness.
All caps. I just saw a video that included messages from Marshy's kids to him ahead of the final. His stepson calling him Papa and saying no matter what the outcome, he has all of them waiting at home for him and who are proud anyways. And then his daughter saying best dad in the whole world in her little kid voice. I'm crying. I need a child.
To be fair, I also had heightened emotions yesterday because one of my like best friends had a baby.
Yeah.
And I finally got to meet her yesterday. And so I had been saying like, I need to hold a baby. And then I got to hold a baby. And then that night I am exposed to just the cutest thing in the world. And I was like,
it's adorable.
I am a sap.
Some other things that have come out. This feels like a fever dream, this first one. I don't know whose account it was on, but somebody had a live stream.
I was hoping you were going to bring this up.
Reinhardt and Barkov are on it. There's so many layers to this because
so funny.
I've only seen bits and pieces. The first one I saw was Reinhardt has no voice left, first of all.
They are wasted.
And Barkov's going, we're only drinking water. As they look so impaired, I was like, no, you're not.
But you know when you do too much and you're like, God, I have to swap to water now. And then...
Yeah, but the damage was already done.
The damage was so done.
Reinhardt is talking about how Barkov loves Summer Rae. Who's a model? Apparently, I don't know. I've never heard of her, but...
I think she's a model, you know. All those letters sound the same. And I was like, what are you talking about?
And Barkov isn't on the side kind of trying to be like, anyways, shut up. Anyways, we're going to stop now. I think Barkov might have been drinking water, but Reinhardt was too far gone.
Reinhardt was doing like water to wine type thing.
Yeah. Jesus has done it again.
He made beer out of water.
That's crazy.
Who could have seen it?
Yeah, and Barkov is trying to cut him off and then explain where the Summer Rae of it all is coming from, because he's like, no, I'm not interested in her, but the letters are similar to the letters of Sam Reinhardt's name, and so I got them confused in something else, and he's trying to explain. And
the damage control just made it even funnier and also didn't make any sense.
And Reinhardt's still back there like, yeah, but Summer Rae...
He lost me at all the letters and the names. They sound the same.
It was so freaking funny. Also, Barkov's wearing a Sam Reinhardt jersey.
Yeah.
All throughout this whole thing, too.
God, the drunk stream of consciousness is unmatched.
The two of them have been the most of what I've seen outside of all of this anyways.
Yeah.
Because speaking of Barkov, there's...
Are you going to talk about the neighbors?
Yes, that's actually what's up next.
Good.
There's doorbell footage of him coming up to his neighbor's house at 5 a.m. with the Stanley Cup trophy, to celebrate with him. And this man rings the doorbell like 18 times.
He pulled at me. He said, ding, 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 ding.
Like, it was so much. And
then the wife is like, he's coming.
It was so much that the doorbell just stopped ringing. You can hear it in the video. It's like, okay.
He's like, we got the trophy. And there's like, I don't even remember who was with him. Some of the guys.
There's a bunch of people.
And I think a wife.
Yeah, there's like 8 people that are following behind him with the trophy.
And apparently he did it last year, which is why he was like, I gotta go to my neighbor and do it again.
Yeah, and he's like, you asked for this. Well, he's also clearly not sober.
Can your husband come out and play?
Can he come out and celebrate with us?
I did something, you guys.
I did a thing. Okay, and then also something that I've seen this morning. Sam Reinhart climbing a stripper pole to get Barkov's jersey from, it's like hanging up by something. I
have not seen this.
I don't think they're at a strip club, but there's a pole that he's scaling to pull Barkov's jersey off of something. I don't know what the context of that is.
Is it a stripper pole or is it a pole?
It's a stripper pole. They're clearly at a club, but it doesn't look like a strip club. Yeah. It's Florida.
That's all I'm going to say.
Can I just say?
Say it.
My favorite part of a Stanley Cup win has been watching all the security camera footage, all the fan footage of them celebrating. I remember last season actually seeing random street footage of them just like carrying the Stanley Cup through the streets of Florida down to the beach. Matthew Tkachuk swam in the ocean with it. Like, it's great.
Those Panthers, they know how to party. That is for sure.
That is for sure.
I could never keep up with them.
Now, I saw a girl talking about how her favorite tradition is, like, the Stanley Cup is so well protected throughout the season. It has a special case. There's a handler that's with it at all the times. It's polished all the time. It's presented with white gloves. It's a whole thing. And then the team gets it. And they...
It's like giving children
absolutely
a nice toy.
Destroy it every season. So I thought we would check in on how Lord Stanley's doing so far.
How is Lord Stanley doing?
Within 24 hours, he was dented and the bowl was cracked.
Honestly, that's pretty minimal.
All of this
for the activities they were doing.
I don't know what it's looking like now. All of this was at Elbow Room, the first stop. And then injuries that have been coming out postseason. I don't have too many.
I mean, Matthew Tkachuk's got almost all of them.
Yeah, Matthew Tkachuk has torn his abductor off the bone and has a hernia. To quote Paul Maurice, this is a direct quote from Paul Maurice, he was a mess. That's the medical term. He was a mess.
I actually can confirm that is the medical term. A mess. Covers all sins.
Maurice also apparently said that Barkov split his hand open in game 1 but continued to play.
Period.
I haven't seen that anywhere other than Spitting Chicklets.
Oh.
So take that as you will. One more thing. This isn't necessarily an injury, more as a disorder.
Oh, okay, never mind. I know what you're talking about.
Roman Josi, the captain for the Nashville Predators, has been diagnosed with POTS. Do you want to talk about what that actually means medically speaking?
I mean, not really.
I feel like most people have heard of it. If you're on TikTok, you probably think it's more common than it is.
It's not life-threatening most of the time. It can be quite dangerous for athletes. Yeah.
But he is getting treatment. I don't know what all treatment they do for that.
I don't know. It's not super-duper common.
Yeah. He's getting treatment. He's been getting treatment since the postseason. He was diagnosed at the beginning of this past season. He is expected to still be back for training camp. Like, he's not expected to miss time, but it was something that they had to disclose. Yeah. From what I know of it, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's just like extreme fatigue.
No.
I know that there's more that goes into it, but your face immediately, I was like, okay, let me just shut
it is
my dumb ass up.
You're not stupid.
And it's like, it's a heart condition, isn't it?
It's postural orthostatic tachycardia, which basically means that with positional changes, your heart rate gets really high. It can happen if you're anemic and you have low blood loss, whatever. It doesn't necessarily matter. But it can be quite dangerous when your high performance athlete like him,
I'm a high performance
and you're
athlete.
doing cardio and working out all the time anyways, and your heart rate's going to be high, and then you're skating all around. You don't want to be sitting on the bench, stand up, and hit the ground.
That's fair.
That's the simplest way I can explain it.
Kiki-A!
So no, not fatigue.
You said high performance athlete, and I was like, I've got to get it out. I've got to get it.
Sweat.
Sweat,
real
baby.
Sweat.
Sweat, baby. Kiki. I can't roll my R's. Kiki-A!
That's a Daniel Ricciardo reference.
And Max Verstappen. Both.
Oh my god, yeah.
And then another note, and then we'll talk about the Olympics real quick to wrap up. McDavid was asked post-game about his future with the Oilers.
I saw.
You have?
Yeah.
I think people are probably reading too much into it, and I think emotions are probably high for him, and he's reading too much into it. But
yeah,
he responded, time to regroup and talk to my agent a little bit and family to make some decisions when the time comes. And people are like, he's gonna trade, he's gonna move teams. I don't think he will.
And then they asked Leon about, like, what would it mean? Like, what are you going to say to Connor, basically, to get him to stay? And he's like, I'm not going to, like, that's not a reality. That's not relevant. And even if that was happening, I wouldn't tell you what I'm going to say. But yeah, I want him to play in Edmonton forever.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to get down on his knees and beg and cry and plead. You think he wants to lose his wife, his other half? No. Get the fuck out of here with that question.
I don't think it is a reality that he will be leaving at the end of the season. That seems too much. I think people are reading into it.
So drastic.
Yeah, it would be very drastic. Also, speaking of people being too dramatic and looking into things too hard, Matthew Tkachuk was asked about McDavid, and he essentially said, like, he's one of those players that's going to win a cup. It's only a matter of time and, like, whatever team he's on.
He might have to get traded to the Panthers.
But people were like, Matthew Tkachuk takes cheap shots at Connor McDavid. What do you mean?
They did the same thing they did to Lauren Kyle McDavid. They just spun it for clickbait.
They did. I'm like, what do you mean? He clearly said, like, he's a good player and he's going to win a cup one day. It's just a matter of time. What do you mean that's a cheap shot?
God.
Anyways.
Also, we have proof of life of the Hughes brothers.
We do.
I don't know how to say it because I keep saying it wrong.
Bauer.
And the
this
Bauer
girl
hockey
keeps
stuff.
going the Bayer, or what do you say?
I don't know.
You say
I don't remember
so
anymore.
Wrong. The Bauer, sorry.
I'm just not familiar with the brand, okay?
That is like the hockey brand.
I don't have any hockey equipment.
Okay.
I did look at skates,
what were you going to say?
I did look at skates. I saw a really cute pair for like $130.
Yeah, as the girl that's never successfully ice skated. I haven't either.
I don't know the last time. I mean, the last time, I've only skated twice that I recall. And one time the girl I went with had a seizure on ice. And the second time we were in Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
And there was nothing to hold on to.
And those skates were so dull. I've been a few times, and every single time I've been terrible at it.
I don't know if I had, like, actual skates, if that would make a difference or what.
I don't think that you need to buy skates.
Well, I'm not going to yet. All I want to say is that the Hughes brothers look happy, rested, and healthy. I didn't see a sling in sight. Everyone was moving their extremities as they made fun of each other.
I assumed that you're talking about the same interview that I'm thinking of, where
with Patrick Kane,
Luke Hughes. Was that Patrick Kane?
Yeah, Patrick Kane. It was like them and Patrick Kane. I don't know the setup. I didn't watch the YouTube video for it. I just saw clips.
I saw a clip, and I think they asked, like, Luke Hughes essentially what's his advice to new generations, and he goes on something, and Quinn and Jack start laughing, and I think they mocked him.
Sibling.
It was so. If you've seen the interview where Quinn says something about, like, this is a business now, and then Luke immediately says it's a business, and they start making fun of him. It was like that.
Did Quinn originate it? I thought Jack originated it.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Luke stole it, and he's the one
and
that
he got
gets
made fun of
for it.
Youngest child.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me so much of that interview clip.
It gave the same energy. And then Jack and Quinn look at each other and start laughing at him. And then he's like, I don't know, y'all speak. And it was so sibling coded. Yeah. It was hilarious.
Like, they were like, no, what you were saying was good. And he was like, it's ruined now.
Yeah, it was so sibling coded. But they were at the campaign, and Trevor Zegras and Adam Fantilli, who you cannot convince me is not 34, married with 2 kids, and Patrick Kane, and a couple others. That's it.
Adam Fantilli looks like a kid.
What?
Yeah. To me, he looks
Adam Fantilli
like 22.
32 with a mortgage and bills.
He looks like 22. I'm pretty sure he's 19.
He's a teenager.
Yeah.
You're telling me he's 20 now. Oh my God, he's a Libra.
Oh, that tracks.
He's literally the day before me and like 6 years after me, but we don't have to get into that. You're telling me this man doesn't have a mortgage?
Yeah. Maybe it's just because I've seen stuff of him like from Michigan and stuff, and so in my head he is just like a college student. Like 22.
You're good.
Okay, quickly, we're going to run through the Olympic rosters so far, minus France and Italy because there weren't any NHL players on there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They've only announced the first, 6 who have been named to their rosters.
Essentially your headliners.
Yeah. So, I'm going to quickly run through it. From Switzerland, we have Kevin Fiala, Nico Hischier, Timo Meyer, Nino Niederreiter, Roman Josi, and Jonas Siegenthaler. Nino Niederreiter is such a fun name.
I love their team.
I do too.
There's so many sweeties.
Slovakia, I'm just going to hit the NHL players that you'll know. Juraj Slafkovsky, Thomas Tatar, Simone Nemetz. I love him.
Yeah.
He's such a little angel babe.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to name from there. There's a few others. You can look it up. Germany, Leon Draisaitl,
Yes.
Lucas Reichel.
I love him.
Nico Strum, Tim Stunzel, Mordish Sider. No one from Latvia that you would know. No one from Denmark, the only person you're really going to know is Frederick Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah. USA.
God, I forget that he's not American.
Yeah. He's Danish.
Period. That's my Danish king right there. And a redhead.
And a
I see you,
redhead.
Christian Rasmussen.
I see you, Christian Rasmussen. Oh my gosh, he is Danish
He's
too.
our Danish king in IndyCar, and he's also a redhead. We love a ginger. We love a Danish ginger.
We do love a Danish ginger. USA, Jack Eichel, Austin Matthews, Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, Quinn Hughes, and Charlie McAvoy. None of those are surprises to me.
Is Charlie McAvoy playing? Did he finally heal? God, I have missed him so much. He's been through it.
Hopefully he'll be back.
If not,
We'll
I think
see.
he should sue the Wild staff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, actually.
I think it's... Never mind. We don't have time for that.
Yeah, that's a whole ordeal. Canada, again, none of these are surprises. Sidney Crosby, who I'm pretty sure they've already named as captain.
If they haven't, we need to talk.
Yeah, that's a given.
I've got questions.
I wonder how he feels about, any team he's on. They're like, well, Sidney Crosby's going to be captain.
I don't know. That's a big burden to carry.
Yeah. Well, Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Braden Point, Sam Reinhart, Cale Makar. None of those are surprises.
No. Stacked cast.
No surprises from Finland either.
Eric Holla.
Sebastian Aho.
Yeah.
Sebastian Aho,
Fishy.
Alexander Barkov,
Yeah.
Mikko Rantanen, Miro Heiskanen, Isa Lundell, Jussi Saros, I believe is how his name is said.
Where the fuck is Eric Holla?
Well, this is only the first 6. Czechia, Marty Necas, King, Andre Palat, David Pastrnak. Why did I say that?
Pastrnak.
That's David Pastrnak, Pavel Zacha, Lucas Dostal. Those are really the only ones you're going to know. I mean, Radko Gudas is also from Anaheim. I feel like I'm doing great pronouncing these names.
I don't know any different, but it sounds pretty good to me.
Right? And then Sweden, there's some of
William Nylander.
William Nylander. Some of these are given. There was one that kind of surprised me a bit. But Adrian Kempe, Lucas Raymond, William Nylander, Rasmus Dahlin, Victor Hedman, and Gabriel Landeskog has already been named.
You know what? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so happy he's back.
I am living for his comeback.
He already came back.
Yeah. I love it. I'm excited to see how he looks in the regular season.
I just miss
hockey.
hockey.
He looked pretty good in the playoffs.
I just miss hockey so much.
Me too. Me too.
Like, we've been filling the void with watching, like, Department Q and Love Island. I've started watching Love Island.
You whore! You said that you didn't want to watch it until all of it was out so we could binge it.
No, I said that about The Summer I Turned Pretty. I said I didn't want to watch Love Island unless there were some strong couples emerging. Because I don't like to wait around. Okay, great. Then we'll watch after we finish Department Q tonight.
I feel betrayed.
My Nick and Olandria stands, rise up. I am subscribed. I am also delusional.
Yeah, okay.
It's been against my will. It just started popping up on my TikTok feed, and then bam.
Have you seen all the Huda stuff?
Hurricane Huda? Yeah.
Yeah, people need to chill out with the hatred towards her, I think, but...
Well, I started watching
she's been through some shit.
Love Island UK Season 5, which I did not realize was the Tom Fury and Molly May season. And then, because I was like, I'm not going to watch Love Island USA until we're done with Department Q so we can watch it together. I've just seen enough clips. So I've only watched UK Season 5, and I got through a couple episodes.
That's fine. I thought you said you had started USA, and I was like, what the frick, Lori?
I'm pretty sure I said I started it, but I meant UK.
Oh, okay.
Because I started it yesterday when I was studying.
Yeah. Yeah,
but like, damn, I miss my hoes.
I miss hockey.
I miss my wives.
I miss hockey already. I was gonna cancel my ESPN Plus subscription, but I think I'm gonna keep it so I can go and watch previous games.
I was really thinking about that, but I mean, now we've got all the time to spend on IndyCar and Formula One. Yeah. Whereas I've been kind of passively watching that.
Yeah, I haven't been watching free practices and qualifying like I typically do.
I never watch free unless I am just at home that day. I'm like, it doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah.
It only matters in the race.
Yeah. But next week, the PWHL draft and the NHL drafts are happening.
God, already?
Yeah. I think the week that this is coming out, they're happening. So next episode, I was thinking we would do a deep dive on the first, like the top picks of the PWHL draft. And then the NHL, I won't have time to do that. So we'll do the week after a deep dive on the top picks in the NHL draft.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Yeah. I think that'll be fun. And then then I've got some stuff lined up for postseason.
We've got plenty of stuff lined up.
We've got some stuff lined up. We're not going anywhere postseason. That's all.
Bye, bitch.
Okay. Bye.
See you next episode. Miss you.
Miss you.